Hello, Home Slices. It's Kira with Home Slice Adulting, coming to you for the second installment of my driving home series. I'm trying to be more active on my YouTube channel, so I'm trying to find ways to work in making videos because I am working full time in addition to actually going to school part-time because I'm getting my MBA at night. So from being in class to being in school to studying and trying to maintain a clean house and taking care of the dog and spending time with my boyfriend, all that stuff is quite time consuming, and so I'm trying to squeeze in ways for me to be more active on my YouTube channel. So this driving home series allows me to kind of multitask in a hands-free kind of way. We get to talk about hot topics, things that are going on in social media, which are typically things that topics I try to avoid. But it's easier for me to talk about them without having to take notes and stuff like that, like for a review. So let's talk about Jussie. And everyone has been talking about it, and I wouldn't say that my viewpoint is so much unique. But I do want to express my viewpoint. Anyways, so I I felt like I knew that it was a hoax from the beginning. So the reason why I knew it was a hoax from the beginning was because when I saw, people cannot drive. When I saw the picture of Jussie after this attack, he just was not beat up enough for me. That was my signal to be like, okay, something's not right. Because for me, if he were truly assaulted by MAGA supporters, if he were truly beat up or whatever, assault and battery, all that situation, if that actually happened, he would have had more injuries. His face was like, when you think about people who are full of hatred, to me, being attacked by two people, like 2 against 1, unless you're like in a Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee film or something like that, you're not going to come away looking the way that Jussie did. And even though he had, a swollen eye and some other minor injuries, to me, I feel like there was not enough hatred in the way that he was injured. And that was my first and really only signal to feel like something was not right about it, that he was not being honest. But I want to make a clear distinction. I'm sorry, y'all, my camera has a hard time focusing specifically when I'm in the car. But anyways, I want to make a distinction between being suspicious that something is not right and not believing someone when they tell you they've been attacked. Because there have been a lot of people who, from the start didn't believe him, and it came across as people victim shaming, like in the event that this whole situation was not orchestrated and that he was truly attacked by MAGA supporters. People who denied him from the beginning would feel ashamed because we're in this kind of state where the Me Too movement, and when people are attacked, when people are sexually assaulted, the default is to believe that person until you are given a reason to not believe him, right? So, people were kind of shamed for expressing that they didn't believe that Jussie was attacked. And as a person who is very sensitive to assault and sexual assault, I wanted to believe that Jussie was telling the truth. Not that I wanted him to get beat up, but being suspicious about the story and not being supportive of him as a victim aren't necessarily the same thing. I can say to you, as a victim of some violent crime, that I believe you, but if something in your story just doesn't line up, that does not mean that I'm shaming you, as a victim. So for me, I was supportive of Jussie in the event that this, things happened the way he said they happened originally, but I had my suspicions based on the lack of injuries was my basic premise for not believing that he, had actually been attacked. So, I hope I was making sense about there being a distinction between being suspicious of someone's story versus completely denying that their account of the details is not true. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, so a lot of things have come out because this story has been out for maybe 2 weeks now, and it's made national headlines, and it's come to the point where people were saying that the whole situation happened because he was going to be written off of Empire. Come to find out, this is the last season of Empire. So everybody's going to be written off, right? Like, if it truly is the last season of Empire, like, there's no reason for him to fear that he's being written off. So that just didn't make sense. But the latest story is that he was not happy with his compensation at Fox regarding Empire, and that he wanted more money. And I guess he was planning on parlaying his, increased activism, his martyrdom, into a larger salary. And originally, I didn't think that the letter that came to him at, Empire Studios, I thought that was something that was actually sent by someone. But now they're saying they believe Jussie sent that letter to himself. My original thoughts was that somebody, a MAGA representative, sent him a letter with, racial slurs, homophobic slurs, with a white substance in it, saying they were going to kill him, attack him with a stick figure with a noose drawn around his neck or whatever. So my initial thought was that letter was real. He reported it. There was no outrage, and he staged this attack to bring attention to the issues. But now, he's under suspicion of having sent those letters to himself. And I just totally hate that. I feel like there's something, like, was he trying to parlay, like, again, I'm not 100% sure, but I have heard that this is the farewell season of Empire. Was he trying to get a spinoff? Was he trying to get other jobs because people felt, sorry for him as a victim? I don't know. Like, really, what is the deal? I just don't get it. I do not understand why he would do something like this. I mean, not only was it poorly planned, there was a paper trail because he paid them with a check. There's like the most trackable form of payment. Like, there's no way he thought this out. Heck, he could have got one of the writers at Empire to write this out. Write it out for him in a way that he wouldn't get caught, But anyways, it just really doesn't make sense. And a part of me feels like people should not. What am I trying to say? Like, there's a lot of memes going around, like Jussie as the Lion King, Jussie working in Burger King in the drive-thru window, and I feel like that is going too far. I feel like it's adding salt to the wounds. But on the other hand, I feel like he has done damage to people in the LGBTQ community who have actually been attacked because of their, sexual orientation, or because of their, involvement in the LGBTQ community, because they are a part of that community, and when they report their crimes, nothing really happens. And the fact that he staged this whole thing is going to cast doubt over every report of legitimate hate crimes involving race or the LGBTQ community. And for him to try to stage this ruse, I mean, what is the deal with all of this fraud going on, from the Fire Festival to now to this? I feel sorry for Jussie, and I don't know that I should, but I do feel sorry for him a lot, because there has to be something wrong with him, or he has to be so insecure that he allowed something like money. From my understanding, he was making 6 figures per episode. For you to be so spoiled and insecure about your position on the show, for your, there are people who would kill to earn 6 figures a year, and for you to be so spoiled to stage a whole national, on a national scale, to stage something so silly, something that has destroyed your career, and something that, I don't understand how you didn't know you were going to get caught. If you're going to plan something, at least meticulously plan it out. And I just don't understand. I feel like he has ruined his chances of ever making 6 figures again. He is facing jail time, and if he indeed sent that letter to himself, he's facing federal charges for sending, substances through the mail. Y'all remember the whole anthrax thing from, back when there was a lot of domestic terrorism going around, or people just sending white substances as a joke and getting legit jail time. So, and on top of that, his family having, who is somewhat famous, having to deal with kind of the shame of all of this, having to deal with, the fact that their, brother has been indicted, their brother and their son, their relative, has been indicted, and it's just senseless. And it comes off like he's just, and I hate to say this because I'm a millennial myself, but it's like he's just a spoiled millennial that didn't know how to get his message across in any way. So he threw the biggest tantrum in American history and created this ruse that got the police involved, that got the FBI involved, that disgraced the show that he was working on, disgraced black people, disgraced people who are in the LGBTQ community, and in one fell swoop has destroyed has hurt and destroyed so many people in so many different groups, not to mention his family. And it's just so unfortunate, and I don't take pleasure in the silly memes about him, and like I said, the Lion King one, and I feel like he seriously has something going on mentally to think that he could do something like this on a national scale, knowing that it was going to get attention because he is a celebrity, and thinking that he could, get away with it. Now, I have heard that he is holding on to his story, and that he, but his story is slowly falling apart. And I just wish that whatever happens, whether he has to serve jail time or whatever, or just a fine, whatever it is that happens, I think it may be more effective to send him to therapy, because there has to be something inherently wrong with him to think that he can pull this off and get away with it. But whether it's jail time or therapy, I do think that he needs some type of help. those are just my thoughts on the whole situation. Tell me what you thought about the Jussie situation. Do you feel like it's fair for people to make these funny memes about Jussie? To me, it comes off as if there's something wrong with him mentally, that he may be like a little, you know, mentally ill or depressed or something along those lines. Because again, I don't know for sure that this is Empire's final season, but if it is, this is the thing that made him famous. And realizing that the thing that made you famous is coming to an end, and maybe you don't have any prospects for the next step in your career, you know, knowing that your income could change drastically if you don't have, you know, a backup plan or like a movie to work on, you know, that type of fear could maybe drive you to do something like this. I don't know that it would, you know, drive you to do something like this on such a large scale. But I do think something is wrong with Jussie, and that I don't think it's fair for people to be doing these memes. But do you think that it's fair for people to be doing these silly memes? Do you think that Jussie should get jail time, or if he should be sent to therapy or rehab or whatever? What are your thoughts on this situation? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm actually almost home, which is remarkable considering how it is like Friday at 5 p.m. I actually got home in a reasonable amount of time. So thank you guys for watching again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me your thoughts on this whole Jussie situation. Peace out, home slices.